Welcome back, Spring Breakers, to another edition of Seahawk Central Sports. I'm Will Oakes.
And I'm Miranda Fabian. Men and women's basketball concluded their season over the break, while baseball and softball are just heating up.
We also have Tyler Franciscini and Khalil Nelson in studio for a little UNCW bracketology to get you guys prepared for your March Madness brackets.
All this and more headlines coming up, so don't go away, because Seahawk Central Sports starts right now.
Men's basketball entered their season with a tough loss to Northeastern in the CAA Conference semifinals. Although they were unable to extend their season to the NCAA tournament, the Seahawks have been invited to play in the CollegeInsider.com postseason tournament, where they would play Sam Houston State in the first round. UNCW finished the regular season tied for first place with a conference record of 12-6.
Head coach Kevin Keats was recognized as the CAA Coach of the Year. Keats led the Seahawks to their first place finish in the CAA in 9 years after finishing in dead last in 2014. Also recognized were Addison Sproul and Freddie Jackson, who were elected to the first team All-CAA and first team All-Defensive respectively. It was a great bounce-back year for the Seahawks, and they look to build on their success in 2016.
Women's basketball finished their season with a loss in the CAA quarterfinals to the Elon Phoenix. Bree Mobley and Shatia Cole each put up double-digit points, but were unable to lead the Seahawks to victory. UNCW finished with an overall record of 14-16 after winning 6 of their last regular season games. Although they came up short in the conference tourney, they look to improve next year without their senior leader, Kelva Atkins.
Baseball extended their record to 11-5 with games against Maryland, UNC Greensboro, Toledo, and Columbia. UNCW baseball has impressed with their play this season and will host Campbell, Northeastern, and Eastern Carolina at Brooks Field in the upcoming week. They are playing some great baseball right now and don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
Softball extended their record to 11-6 as they come off a 2-game losing streak to Presbyterian over the weekend. In the upcoming week, they will be hosting Campbell, Hofstra, and East Carolina at Bozeman Field as they look to bounce back.
Men's tennis extended their record to 8-4 as they come off a loss to 20th ranked South Florida in the University of South Florida Team Invitational. The Seahawks defeated other ranked teams such as Drake and Penn State during their trip to Tampa Bay. Although they did not complete the sweep of matches, Coach Matt DuBois saw many positive signs from his team during the contests.
Women's tennis has struggled in recent matches as their record has dropped to 3-6. Their most recent loss came at home to Elon as they were outmatched 6-1. The Seahawks will look to bounce back versus UMBC and NC Central at the UNCW tennis courts throughout the next week.
It's that time of year again to fill out your March Madness brackets. If you're looking for some help on who to pick in the tight matchups, don't worry, because we have Tyler Francisini and Khalil Nelson here in the studio with Sandra Gonzalez to break down the tournament.
Thanks, Miranda. Sonia here with Tyler and Khalil. It's going to be an exciting season. Who do you guys see as first-round upsets?
Well, I guess I'll take it from here. As far as first-round upset, I'm going to go with Texas over Butler. I know Butler is the 11th seed. You know, Butler's the 6th seed and Texas is 11th seed. But if you got to look at Texas, who they play in the Big 12. Great conference. They beat Kansas. They have the resume to beat good teams. And quite frankly, who has Butler played this year besides Carolina, and which was a huge upset. Carolina wasn't even put together that year. So I'm going with Texas.
I respect that upset, and I see that one myself. I think the A10 was dramatically undervalued by the selection committee, so I'm a big fan of Davidson as the 10 seed over Iowa as the 7 seed. I just think they're very well coached, and I think they're going to handle their business in the first round.
I can see that.
Now, who do you guys see as a Cinderella team?
I got this one. I'm a huge fan of Wichita State in the second round over Kansas. Wichita State as the 7 seed will knock off Indiana and then go beat Kansas. Kansas is definitely afraid of Wichita because they know how well coached they are. They're 28-4 as a record, so they're very well coached, and I think they will knock off Kansas in the second round.
Well, I am going to completely disagree with that dumb comment that you just made right there. Wichita State, really? Go with Michigan State. How about that? Michigan State in the Big Ten. I see them being a huge upset, going against Maryland and beating Maryland. I can see that happening right there. Michigan State is unbelievable. Them in the Big Ten. They are unstoppable. Michigan State.
Okay.
Well, as we know, Kentucky has finished their regular season 34-0. Who do you guys see as being their biggest threat in going undefeated?
I'm going to go with the Duke Blue Devils. I know everybody is against that and think that the Duke Blue Devils can't stand against them, but Jaleel Okafor, their big man in the center, Tyrus Jones, Justice Winslow, they have the reputation, they have the keys to beat these guys. Kentucky is not ready for a team like Duke.
Do you want the short answer or the long answer? Because the short answer is nobody. The short answer is no one. Kentucky's going to beat everyone by 10, 20 points the entire tournament. Their only tough game will be against Wisconsin or Arizona in the first game in the Final Four.
Are you seriously telling me you see Kentucky going undefeated?
Yes, I think they're the best team in the nation. I think the Harrison twins are going to hit big shots that they need to, but I don't think they're even going to need them. I think Willie Cauley-Stein is just going to control the paint the whole time, and I don't think anyone's going to come within 10 points of Kentucky. Much like Carolina's run in 09 with Tyler Hansborough, I think they're going to be untouched.
So let's just stay in their conference. You're telling me you don't see teams like Kansas, Notre Dame, beating Kentucky?
Kansas isn't going to be there because they're going to lose to Wichita State, like I said.
They're not going to even lose to Wichita State.
But the only team that can maybe trip them up is Notre Dame, just because you saw what they did in North Carolina in the ACC championship.
Yeah.
They can shoot the ball. Anybody that shoots that well can beat Kentucky. I just don't see it happening personally.
Okay, then if Kentucky even goes on to the Final Four, they'll face either, in my opinion, Arizona or Wisconsin. You tell me you don't see any of those two teams?
Those are the 1-2 teams. I agree with you there, especially Wisconsin because Kaminsky. I think they could beat them, but personally, I think Kentucky's too good. I just think even if someone gets in foul trouble, they can just bring someone off the bench that's almost just as good. That no one else has that luxury in the league.
All right, well, you kind of touched on it, but who do you see in your Final Four?
Personally, I have Kentucky up top in the Midwest. The West is going to produce Wisconsin. Then you've got, on the other side of the board, you're going to have Villanova versus Iowa State. Yes, I said it. Iowa State is going to beat Duke. I have a bunch of predictions this one, and I really do like Iowa State. I think Hoiberg's a fantastic coach. He's even getting looked from the Chicago Bulls. That's how good of a coach he is. And I think Georges Niang is going to be one of the players of the tournament to watch. I like Iowa State.
Well, my Final Four is nowhere near what you're saying because it's just completely ridiculous. I have Kentucky in the Final Four. Obviously, if you don't go with Kentucky in the Final Four, you're an idiot, in my opinion. I have Arizona going against Kentucky in the Final Four. I don't see any other teams in that conference besides probably Wisconsin to compete with that division right there. I always believe in the code of ABC, anybody but Carolina. So, sorry, your Carolina Tar Heels not going nowhere. And then I have Nova and Duke going against each other. So it's going to be Kentucky, Arizona, Nova, and Duke, my Final Four.
And who's your champion?
Duke Blue Devils. I can't go with the heart. I can't go against it. Heart wins over. I know my brain's telling me Kentucky because Kentucky's undefeated and they're really good. But my heart's going with the Duke Blue Devils. I don't go against my team. Duke's going to win it.
I think that Iowa State's going to take a playbook out of Notre Dame, and they're just going to allow everyone to prevent three-pointers and just let Okafor work in the middle. They're going to have the same recipe with Jameel McKay and Georges Niang. So I like Iowa State to get to the championship versus Kentucky, but Kentucky's just too talented. There are too many big men, and they will control the paint against Iowa State, and Kentucky will be 40-0, and they will be champions in April.
I'm trying to figure out how do you see Iowa State going to Kentucky?
Just because I think they're going to be able to beat Gonzaga and then beat Duke, and then they'd face Nova on the other side, the right side of the bracket, and I think they'd be able to beat Villanova as well.
All right, well, it's going to be an exciting tournament. We're all looking forward to it. Back to Miranda and Will.
Really looking forward to see what the Seahawks do in the CIT tournament. Hey, they couldn't make the NIT or NCAA tournament, but it's still going to be exciting to watch them play in the postseason.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all turns out.
That's right.
So tune in next week for more UNCW sports headlines. As always, I'm Miranda Fabian.
And I'm Will Oakes. And remember, win, lose, or draw, it's always a great day to be a Seahawk. Have a great week, UNCW.